A soldier's duty is not to reason why. A soldier's duty is to do or die.
Art is something that never goes out of style. Repeatedly throughout history, art has been used as a voice, a statement, and an expression of one's thoughts or feelings. Art has shaped different time periods of history, from humanism to romanticism to the modern world today. Art symbolizes self-expression, which was something during World War II that people didn't have the freedom of in Europe because of Hitler's rule. Hitler had the intention of stripping away everyone's born rights so it would be possible to dictate the entire continent of Europe. He did so by manipulating German Nazi soldiers to follow under his relentless rule.
Ich lebe unter Deutschland und seine in euch liegenden.
German Nazi soldiers looted famous artworks and artworks depicting familial heritage for Hitler's personal wants and desires. Hitler aspired to have his own museum called the Führer Museum, located in Linz, Austria. The consequences of his selfishness were severe, resulted in destroyed, missing, and stolen pieces of artwork throughout all of Europe, from different time periods and artists. One of the famous burned artworks was The Painter on the Road to Tarascon by Vincent van Gogh. The Painter on the Road to Tarascon gave the world a view into the unmatched creative mind of Vincent van Gogh. By losing this, we lose a point of view that may never truly be rivaled. Vincent van Gogh was a monumental artist during his era, being recognized for thousands of his artworks during the early 1900s, but also in today's modern art culture. He lived a short yet eventful life and died in 1890 at the young age of 37 in his home, Arles, France, where The Painter on the Road to Tarascon was also created. The piece was a self-portrait of Vincent van Gogh, traveling and displaying himself as an alienated outsider. This painting differs from his other artworks because it is full-bodied, unlike the others that only depict his torso and face with a more simple, blank background. The man in the painting had similar facial features of Vincent van Gogh, as well as his red hair appearing under the straw hat. The man's eyes were the same shade of green as the grass in the background, symbolizing the emptiness he felt. The shadow of the man symbolized that his only friend was himself, creating a sense of loneliness. At the time of this creation, Vincent van Gogh was going through a hard time. He had been having seizures earlier throughout the year, and later, the unstable artist would soon commit suicide. It angered Hitler even more when he saw works that weren't realistic at all, but expressed modernism, expressionism, and were very abstract, which included Van Gogh's The Painter on the Way to Tarascon. Hitler created the Degenerate Art Show, where he felt the need to make anything not related to Germanic culture inferior and looked down upon in society. The art exhibit had thousands of artworks displayed in a cluttered fashion, with poor lighting and graffiti on the walls surrounding artwork in German slang. The number of viewers was astonishing, being one of the biggest art exhibits to be displayed in history at the time. Nearby, Adolf Hitler also displayed another art exhibit, filled with artwork he felt was acceptable and proper in society. Although famous artworks were stolen by the Nazi German soldiers, the Monuments Men were famous for finding them. The Monuments Men were a group of soldiers dedicated to finding artwork stolen during World War II and returning them to their rightful owners. They worked side by side with the Allied forces to keep the work preserved from battles and war destruction. The Monuments Men Foundation put The Painter on the Road to Tarascon on the Most Wanted Works of Art list after the Degenerate Art exhibit. The list had the artwork that the Monuments Men felt was threatened during the war and was essential to preserve art history. Although, unfortunately, the men were never successful and could not save the precious painting from the destruction of World War II. However, a sketch of The Painter on the Road to Tarascon was created by Vincent van Gogh before the final painting that used just pencil and pen, and it is now displayed in the Guggenheim Museum in New York. Famous artists felt inspired by the artwork and tried to recreate it with their own artistic style. Francis Bacon's twist on the art piece is one of the most popular and was created in 1957. Bacon's version of the painter on the road to Tarascon slightly contrasts the original with different shapes and colors to emphasize that a new era was created. Hitler was a relentless dictator with the cruel intentions of making all of Europe his own by degrading artists and artwork that did not live up to his high standards.
This cannot last. That was a feeling. This mankind is crazy. It's nuts. How can the Germans listen to him? What does he have to give?
The Painter on the Road to Tarascon by Vincent van Gogh was one of the thousands of artworks that was shamed by Hitler and German Nazi soldiers. Destroying and looting artwork not only stripped European society away from their history and culture, but of their basic human rights of freedom of expression and speech. The Painter on the Road to Tarascon expressed Vincent van Gogh's thoughts and feelings before it was burned in vicious flames. The monumental artwork has been re-established by other famous artists in multiple sketches, but will never be able to replace the original artwork's true meaning. Today, the artwork can be viewed as a symbol of a dark time that society has moved forward from in a stage of renewal and transformation.